Courtney Judd. I love reading. I read 80 books in 2019, so I came up with my top 5 recommendations. I am appropriately wearing my Anne of Green Gables shirt. It's delightful when our imaginations come true, isn't it? Is what it says. My second recommendation is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is my We Have Always Lived in the Castle necklace. It's a work of literary genius. For narrative nonfiction, number 3, I would recommend In the Kingdom of Ice by Hampton Sides. His exquisite diction and compelling narrative it captivated me completely. For memoir, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, devastatingly beautiful. And my 5th, I do not like fantasy, but this is one of my all-time favorite books. I loved this fantasy. Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami. It's a Japanese translation. It's fantastic. And I also love running. I ran my first 10K in September, half marathon in October, and my first marathon in February. I will be running the New York City Marathon for the charity Shoot for Africa in November. I'm also married to my best friend and college sweetheart from BYU, Jonathan, and we have 2 sweet little boys who are ages 2 and 5. I first realized I struggled with mental illness when I was 13. I started having suicidal thoughts. It was off and on. When I was 17, I had a few panic attacks. It was hard, but I didn't think a lot about it. I didn't think about it seriously until I was 20. I went through a really bad breakup, and I did not sleep for 5 weeks. And then I was misdiagnosed with clinical depression. So at age 23, I was officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I started noticing problems when I was pregnant. I had extreme mood swings and I was acting strange. I would forget things and hide things and get lost driving places I drove every day. I started having sexual thoughts about other men. Everything seemed off. But everyone's like, oh, pregnancy's crazy, hormones, blah, blah, blah. And I'd never been pregnant before, so I kind of shook it off as just being pregnancy. But after I gave birth, things got increasingly worse. I kept struggling with thoughts of molesting or physically harming my child, and it was haunting. It was scary. I didn't know what to do. And I even started hallucinating and having delusions. I told my husband of what I've been struggling with for months because I realized I wasn't sleeping and my baby was sleeping through the night. And so we decided that I would go back and live with my parents. And I did that for a couple months so they could help me take care of my baby while I pursued treatment that's when I got my diagnosis and pursued treatment with both therapy and medication. So people seem to think that you're extremely happy or extremely depressed, and that's really not the case. There's 4 components to it: mood, self-worth, energy, and thought speed. If you're manic, you're in a good mood, you have high self-worth, you have high energy and rapid thought speed. In depression, you have bad mood, bad self-worth, low energy, and slow thought speed. And then there's something called mixed episodes, and those are the most dangerous, and it's when you have a combination of the both. So the most concerning is if you have low self-worth, bad mood, mixed with high energy and rapid thought speed. You're more likely to make a rash decision to commit suicide. Like I remember in college, if I was manic, I could get like all this stuff done and I could focus a ton. But it's kind of like a wave. So if you are manic and then your focus is broken, at least for me, then I'll crash into a depression. Or the opposite, if I'm in a depression and I do something positive to get out of it, I can get so mega intensely focused that I become manic about it. It is a real neurological disorder. Your neurotransmitters don't communicate effectively. So I have pursued both therapy and medication. I take a mood stabilizer. I have taken an antipsychotic in the past. Those help bring you down from mania. So if you recognize you're in that, it calms you down and it helps you sleep. For therapy, I have had several therapists over the years. If the relationship's not good between therapist and patient, it's not going to help you much. A type of therapy that has been really beneficial for me was cognitive behavioral therapy. And the way that works is you try to anticipate a situation before it happens and you think of what's logically going on. So an example might be you think your boss is out to get you and hates you. And then you have to think about it and it's like, okay, does my boss really hate me? Or is there a deadline coming up soon, which he or she is stressed about, and that's why this person is irritable. Mental illness has robbed me of joy, especially when it comes to motherhood. My postpartum depression was so severe with my second child, I hardly have any memories of the first year of his life. Also, the two biggest things that set me off are lack of sleep and loud noises. And children wake up in the night. It's so hard to scroll through Instagram or when people are like, I love motherhood so much. And I do have those magical moments. I really, really struggle to find joy in motherhood. So one thing I do is I try to treasure those moments in the day or in the week or in the month, if it's a hard month, where I do feel those moments because it is a constant struggle for me. I set really high expectations for myself, and I get obsessive. So a lot of my happiest memories are also paired with a twinge of sadness. Running my marathon is one of my all-time happiest memories, but I didn't hit my time goals. Even though it was a huge sense of accomplishment, I feel a little let down that I didn't meet those goals. What I've gained from my mental illness is love and compassion for other people in a way I don't think I could experience otherwise. I've also developed deep friendships rooted in love and support from opening up about my mental illness. There's just a sense of openness, which strengthens relationships, and that's really cool. In terms of support, I have a huge support system. My husband, my family from growing up, my in-laws, amazing friends. So I am very fortunate to have that. And what's most helpful is when people say things like, I don't understand what you're going through, but I'm here for you. And then when they follow through and they actually are there and they listen and they love and they spend time and energy and care and encourage me. My husband, in terms of support, made such a big sacrifice that I'm thankful for every single day. After our second child was born, we decided that sleep was really extra important to me, extra critical during that time, so I could better take care of myself and my health and my family. And so 5 nights a week, he would do all the night feedings, all the night waking up, and 2 nights a week I would do it. What's really unhelpful is when people are like, no, like, you're so amazing. Like, no, nothing's wrong. It's like, oh, like, maybe I should be really secretive about my thoughts and my struggles because I am suffering deeply, but you don't think that anything's wrong. I think that partly happens because they want to be loving and tell me how they perceive me in a positive way, but I think it also comes out of fear. Depression isn't talked about openly very much, but it's more accepted, and bipolar disorder is feared. People don't want you to have it, people don't want to have it themselves, and they don't want to relate because it's scary. COVID-19 has very negatively affected my mental health. I am not okay, and I have outwardly said that. My husband is considered an essential worker, so his life hasn't really changed that much, and I find myself being a little bugged by that. It's hard for me because I need extra help at home. I have a child with extreme emotional problems, and so he tends to run away. And I want to take him outside so we can practice riding bikes or go for a walk. And it's really, really challenging to do. I'm stressed and I'm sad and I'm overeating. I've gained like 4 pounds and I'm exercising self-love. I recognize I'm in a distressed state right now, and I'll get through that. And things are starting to get better. And people have been wonderfully supportive. Lots of friends have been sending Marco Polos and trying to keep in touch. And so that aspect has been wonderful. But day-to-day life is just really hard. Something I wish people understood better about mental illness is that people who struggle with mental illness have separate identities from the mental illness. For book club several years ago, read Wonder by R.J. Palacio. And so a discussion was brought up about special needs, and my friend Jamie, in that discussion, she said it really bothers her when people say her sister is Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a condition her sister has. It's not who she is. And that's so true with mental illness too. I am not bipolar. I have bipolar disorder. It is a condition that I have. It's not who I am. I also wish, on the flip side, that people understood that high-functioning people can really suffer and struggle from mental illness. So even though I'm high-functioning and I'm able to accomplish a lot, when I reach out for help, I actually really need it. Something I think is valuable for people to know is seeking out great professional help is so challenging and so hard to find, but so worth it. Reaching out can have negative consequences. I went through a terribly traumatic experience where I reached out for help and I was wrongfully reported for child abuse. I was so afraid to look for help elsewhere, and then I was so distrustful that I stopped taking my medication. It was so hard and took so much courage to seek out help again, but I'm so glad I do. I found a wonderful psychiatrist who really respects me and trusts me, and I respect and trust her. And it's been so helpful for our family. So I wish people understood that, like, it can have negative consequences, but it's worth it.